Hi everyone, you are welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Ridwan Ibrahim, and in this video I'll be showing you the beam settings in ProtaStructure. In the last video I showed you how you can make changes to the default settings of column. So in this video I'll move further to show you how you can do exactly the same thing in beam. And then I'll just give my preference of what I use, my own setting, so you can do the same on your own. So let's just go to that. This is building setup. I'll go to settings and then just go to settings center. Now if you are here, you can just come down here and then you click on beam. Okay, so under the beam you can edit the design and then you can edit the parameters. So under the design you will see something called design shear force. Okay, so where should the shear force, the design shear force, where will it be? Will it be at the column face or at a particular distance, which is D from column face? And what is D? D is the effective depth. Just pick the column face, that is the default. Make sure you select that. Then another one is the section effective depth calculation. Now you can decide to have its center of gravity of steel bars or center of gravity of the layer. Okay, so I will pick center of gravity of the steel bar, so that will be the center of the steel bar to the top fiber of the column. So if your cover is equal at all sides, it can just be the steel bar at the top or the steel bar at the bottom. Okay, so I'll pick this. Then batch mode design setting, if you want to have a batch design, okay, so you should apply both these. Just make sure these two are selected. Then also for your interactive design, you should design using rectangular section of this, so make sure it is selected. Then another thing is what we have here. It is ignorable forces. Okay, so when your axial tensile force is 50 or less than 50, it will be ignored by the system. Obviously, we usually don't design beam for axial force. What we design it for is shear force and bending moment, because the axial force is usually horizontal and that is usually negligible or ignorable. So if it is 50 kilonewton or less than, it will be ignorable. Then when you now have it at more than this, then the software cannot ignore it, but that is a very rare case. Okay, and then you have other more here. Under the parameters, you can go ahead to select your minimum bar for your beam and the maximum bar for your beam. Okay, so this is the minimum bar. It has been selected to be Y12. I will change this to Y16. So what I've just done here is that Y16 will be the minimum diameter of bar I can use for my beam design, and then for my maximum I will reduce this to Y25. Okay, then the web steel design Y16 is not bad. The minimum number of anchor bars simply means top bars. Okay, so if it is a rectangular section, the minimum you can have is just 2. Okay, so just make sure it is 2. If you use 3, it will be over designing your beam, because it will be having 3Y16 at least at the top, because the minimum is 16. So if you pick the minimum number to be 3, the minimum you'll be having will be 3Y16. But what I have here, the minimum I can be having is 2Y16 for my anchor bars. Okay, then the minimum number of anchor bar diameter, I will still change this to Y16, since I've changed the minimum number of steel entirely to Y16. Okay, then also the spacing, this has to do with the spacing. You can just go ahead and then do that. Then for the length of your beam, the minimum is Y8, the maximum I'll pick that to be Y12. Okay, then the link spacing step, this is the step of your link spacing. Okay, what this means is that, let's say for example, if you want to provide a link and then what you want to pick is spacing of 225, the next one can be 250, the next one can be 275, then 300, 325, 350. That is 25 mm spacing interval. So that is what you have here as a link spacing step. Okay, so you can change this to 50. So if you change this to 50, it just means that your interval will be in 50, 50, 50. Okay, so just go ahead and change all this. This is the maximum spacing you can have, that's 300. You shouldn't have more than 300 for your spacing. Okay, so just go ahead and do all things you can do here. Then the method of your steel bar selection, how your steel bar should be selected. Should it be selected based on the rebar spacing or based on the rebar diameter? Okay, if it is a beam or a column, what we usually do is the rebar diameter. Okay, you will use the diameter to select your bar. That is the method of selection we use. Okay, but if it is a slab or it is a long wall, what you should use is the spacing optimization method. Okay, so just pick your rebar minimization method. Okay, and then for the design, you can see let me show you. Just look carefully at this diagram. You can see what is here as default is standard pattern number 2. Now let me click on this drop down and select what you have here as bent up pattern. Now for example, if you look at this, you see that my anchor bar at the top, you can see what you have here. Then just after the support, you have a sagging moment. Then you can see I now have a bar, but for the continuity I have to crank it down. Okay, then at the support here at the top, of course I will have another sagging moment, so I need a reinforcement, and I still want to go ahead with the continuity of this bar, so I have to connect it with a crank. So that is what you're having here. Okay, so if you want this kind of arrangement of your steel bar, you can use the bent up pattern. If you do not enjoy this, you can use the standard pattern 1. Okay, you can see this will just be lapping, but it will not crank it like that. So if you don't want that, there is standard pattern number 2 and there is standard pattern number 3. Okay, so I prefer to use the standard pattern number 3. However, this can even be changed when you are designing, but it is better for you to change this from here. So this will just be your default. Okay, and then the next one will be the bent up bars. When you talk about beam type, you have 3 type of beam. Let me click on this drop down. You see you have floor beams. That is the beam at each floor. Story 1, story 2, all those are floor beams. Then you have another kind of beam, which is rib beams. Okay, you have rib beams. When you have a rib slab, you see there will be some ribs coming down. Those are also beam. So you can have the rib beam. It will be designed as a beam. And then you have the foundation beam. Okay, so you can make your settings based on the type of beam it is, since you cannot have the same condition for all those 3 type of beams. Okay, now let's see your bent up bar control. So where should it control it? That should be from bottom. Okay, and that is L/5. Okay, L/5. Let's click on this. You can use H/2. That's not bad. So I'll just click on this L/5. The number of bent up bars, you can decide to pick the number of bent up bars. This is no bent up bars. You want no bent up bars. This is just have 1, 2, 3. The maximum you can have is 3. Okay, so you can go ahead and then do more on that. So for your link, it is not difficult from what we've done in the column design. So you can change your link, so you can see all this. And then your curtailment, this is very essential. Now let's click on steel bars. Now you see what you have here. This is bottom span bars. Okay, your bottom span. Now it will ask you where it should lap your bar. Should it lap it inside your support, or should it be lapped outside the support? Should it extend the lap into support, okay, or should it extend it into adjacent span? Okay, so this is what has been selected as the default, but I'll click on insert inside support, because when you have your lapping inside the support, when you have the support, that is where you have the minimum shear force, because at your support your moment is maximum, but your shear force is minimum. Okay, so I will just use where I will lap it where I have the minimum shear force. So you can lap it inside your support, and if you don't lap inside the support, make sure you lap very near to the support. Okay, close to the support. That's outside the support, but close to the support. So what was there before is outside the support, but of course when you look at this, for example, look at this lapping. No, let me change it back to outside support. Now if you look at this, you see that it is being lapped outside the support, but it is very close to the support. You can see it's just after the support. All right, if you look at this one too at the top, you can see it is just after the support. But if you click on lap inside the support, now what do you see? You see it is being lapped inside the support, but that is only for bottom span. You see that this has not changed, but this has changed. Okay, so that is not bad. You can go to steel bar 2. Okay, then you can edit more on that. Then the bob control. Now under your bob control, you have 3 options. One, you can decide to have your rebar to go inside your column. This is beam. Okay, so you can have the reinforcement of your beam to go inside the column, or to return back inside the beam, or to just extend like this. Okay, so let me use to go inside the column, which is this. Just take a look at this. Let your height be here. Okay, so click on this. Now you can see what has happened. Okay, so if I click on this, it will return back into the beam. You can see this is what was there before. If you click this, this is what will be there. Okay, so this will not return into the column. If you click this, this will go into the column. You can see this is longer. It is now extending into the column. But if you click this, it will not extend into the column. All right, so that is not bad. And then you can go ahead to do your detailing. So under the detailing, you can just make some changes to that. So this is all you have to do on the beam settings, and along the way I've given my preferences and my advice on what you can choose. So you can go ahead and then do your settings. You can do more and then enjoy it. So I'll just click on OK to activate the changes. So click on OK, and then that's all. But bear it in mind that whatsoever changes, whatsoever setting you make will only be available for the project you are working on. So if you close this project and then you open another project, the settings you made on this project will not be available in the next project you open. So you have to keep doing the settings before you start doing your design and other things if you need a setting for your design. Alright, so if you enjoyed my video, kindly give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you give it a subscription. Thanks for watching.